got a blue one and a black one. Cool.
Beautiful.
Awesome. So here's how the system works. And like I've been successful, a lot of people have been successful with this, and you can tweak it around to whatever works for you. So it's a set thing, but you can do it in many different ways. So it's good. Now I always look at what's involved in studying, right? There's always really three components of it. One is what I call the pre. Right, this is more easier than ever now, right? So pre is before class essentially, right? So how are you studying at the moment? Is there going to be like class, or is it all online, or how's it set up with what you're studying?
It's I think 35 to 40 class people in class.
Yep.
With just obviously one teacher.
Yep.
Explaining all the modules and coursework.
Yep.
And then they'll every I think
Do you have
3
like
weeks they'll
shoots
send
and
you
stuff, or is
an
it just
exam.
all sort of lectures and?
Yeah, it's more lectures and just online slides.
Yep. Cool.
And that's pretty much it.
Awesome. So that's good. Again, this can apply to a lot of other things. Like there's some courses out there, pure online learning.
Yeah.
You can just go step 1 and step 2. Here, that's it. But we're going to focus on, because you've got classrooms.
Yeah.
Right. Focus on that as well. So everything you do before the classroom, then obviously during class. Right. So during, and then I call post. Texas is no good. So post class. Right. So now.
Yeah, that's right.
So everything you do during the class that you can do, and everything you do afterwards, right? And it's just sort of repeat the cycle. Now, this is for, I guess, for classes, right? If I'm just going to apply it. So everything I need to do before class, what is it? I might have readings to do, right? I might do an exercise. I might look at PowerPoint slides, all that sort of stuff, right?
Yeah.
That's all part of the preparation. So when you do get into preparation mode, there's a few things you can do that can speed it up, and that can make things a little bit easier through all of this as well. Because usually before we get into class, we might do a few readings, all that. That's if we do them.
Yeah.
Like a lot of people don't. They just go into class, whatever's given to us, we take the notes. If we take notes, and just wait for the next class.
Yeah, exactly right.
That's like the standard. Of course, there's people out there doing a lot of other stuff, but I'm talking about majority.
Yeah.
Of with students that I've dealt with as well, even lecturers. So I look at pre here. So what can be essential as a skill to learn that will help you before you get to class, right? Speed reading is. I'll just put speed up. Speed reading. That's a key to actually understanding a lot of content. Now people think speed reading is just reading really fast. It's not, it's actually reading images.
Yeah.
Right? If you're reading images, guess what? The image is going to stick in your head. It's going to improve your comprehension.
Yeah.
Because that's what you want. It doesn't matter if speed improves, right? No one cares about speed. Everyone cares about what you get out of that.
Yeah.
Right? Because deep down inside, people might be going, I just want to read faster. Really what they want is they want to get through content.
Exactly.
And get it in their heads.
Yeah, exactly.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's the thing. So yes, you'll sift through, because when I did 2 masters. I did IT and MBA, right? And there was a lot of reading, especially for MBA, and that helped a lot, because article after article just smashed them all out. Bang, 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 bang. Came into class, done. Even before class, where I only had 10 minutes early before class, I'd smash it out because it was like an hour reading. I'm doing it in like 10 minutes, bang.
Good.
So again, that was because I've been practicing speed reading for a while, right? Someone might take 20 minutes, but still, it's 3 times
Still
faster.
Be a bit faster,
Yeah. So you've also got what I call mind mapping, right? Or what Tony Buzan he calls mind mapping. I'm writing my own shorthand, as you can see. It's my Saturday writing. Mind mapping. If I'm making these videos, I've got to write better, don't I? So, mind mapping. Amazing tool. Have you done it before? Mind mapping?
I've attempted to do mind map, but it's. I'm not sure if it's called the mind, like when I did it, but it was called palace, the mind palace.
Oh, I remember that. Yeah, that's something different.
That's different,
Yeah,
is it?
yeah,
No, I haven't done the mind
Yeah,
mapping.
mind mapping is. I mean, there's so many uses for it, but in terms of studying, what you probably use it for. Again, there's many uses for studying as well, but the main reason is here to organize information.
Yeah.
Right. So if I asked you, and I think I did this with last time, how many dots are there here?
Yeah. 20.
You just guess, yeah.
Yeah.
And if I said, okay, how many dots here? How many?
Straight away, right?
Straight away, right?
Well, yeah.
You know that there's X amount of dots here versus there,
Yeah.
right? And I can keep going. Why is that different? Because here's how information comes at you. Here's how it is organized. It's easier to remember.
Yeah, you're right.
So once information is organized, that's what mind mapping does, right? You organize, because information is not given to us in an organized way. We might think so, right? We read something page after page, or we take notes page after page.
Yeah.
But you got to remember, something on page 1, right? Let's say this is all notes or whatever. Something on page 1 might relate to something on page 12. Something on page 12 might relate to something on
Exactly
300,
right.
whatever. And this is in books, in notes, everywhere. So information is going back and forth, back and forth. With a mind map, if it's in one particular topic, for example, in topic area, you'll know which branch it's on, and it's always going to be there.
Okay, got it.
And you just bang, direct access,
Yeah.
right? And how it's helped me as well with the MBA when I did that. IT was easy. It's just you just planning
Yeah.
and stuff, and there was a lot of reading too. But yeah, it's not so much like the MBA. We had to read a lot of articles, right? So what it helped me was organize all that information, and instead of seeing 50 pages, it was just only 3 things. I'm like, oh, is that all?
Really?
And everything else was underneath. So that's going to help you really visualize the actual content. So, and when you can visualize content, you start knowing about it.
Yeah.
Instead of saying, oh, I've got 50
Exactly right.
pages
Yeah,
to
yeah,
read.
Exactly.
Well, out of that 50 pages, you might really need 5 things
Yeah.
that it's
Yeah.
talking about. And
Exactly.
then once you understand what those 5 things are, you start to understand what incorporates underneath them.
Yeah.
Right? So this is the real power of mind mapping, or organizing your information. And then if you need to memorize, you use memory techniques.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right? So memory, that's a techniques. So techniques are like you said, the memory palace, and linking association, and even major system in some instances where you have to memorize numbers and all that sort of stuff, facts, data, dates, things like that. That sort of helps in there as well. So, and there's more things in there as well, but these are like the main areas, because you've got a lot of reading to do. Speed reading helps. You've got a lot of information, right? Mind mapping. What I used to do is I used to get all the PowerPoint slides, right?
Yeah.
And it'll be like 50, 60, whatever there was before every class, right? Before every class, mind map them. So when you do a mind map, it's all on one page.
Oh, okay.
All on one page. So those 50 slides,
Looking around.
exactly, all those 50 pages were just on one page.
Yeah.
And the thing is, there'd probably be like 3 or 4 branches, that's it.
Yeah.
And of course there'll be things underneath that, but that's all there was.
Yeah.
So I'd print them out in like A3 piece of paper, and I'd give them out to my classmates,
Oh, yeah.
even to the lecturer. So instead of trying to work out what the hell's going on in the PowerPoint, it'll be on the mind
You
map.
did
And
that
they'll
for
get it.
everyone?
I did it for everyone.
What?
Yeah, well, I was doing it for myself. All I'd do was print more copies.
True.
That's
What
it.
did the lecturer say? Yeah, it's
He was loving it. It made his job easier. Yeah, a lot easier. So this is the power of it, and it also gets you to realize how crappy some people's PowerPoint slides are, because they're not organized at all. They have headings which are like subheadings, and so what I was also doing was reorganizing the university's information as well, because it just wasn't given in a way that was memorable to students, right? So I was reordering their stuff, all on one page instead of 50. You see what I mean?
Yeah.
So, and also I was doing it for things like assignments. You'd get a page full of, you have to do this, blah 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 blah, group assignments. No ambiguity. As soon as you do a mind map saying, okay, this is exactly what we need to do. Because when you have instructions, people can read it in different ways. And that's what I found, was like, this person was saying that, she was saying that, he was saying that. I'm like, no, this is exactly what we're doing.
Yeah.
So there was clarity in the mind map.
Exactly.
And when they look at it, they go, yeah, you're right.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I have to do. There's no, you're wrong or right.
No
or,
grey areas.
No grey areas.
Yeah.
So that was brilliant. Now, obviously, each person's mind map's different, but when you're dealing with information, you can map that information out, and people can still see, no matter how different it is, that yep, it's going to be that black and white. So that's going to help with information organisation.
Yeah.
That's like my favourite thing out of everything.
Yeah.
Even speed reading. Excuse me, because I can read, but if I can organise that information, I don't even have to speed read. I can just look at the data and go, oh, that's what I'm dealing with.
Yeah, but in order to do that mind map,
You don't even need to read.
Ah.
You can look at a book. You can mind map a whole book without even reading it.
Yeah.
Right? You just get to the, you go to the chapters section, right? Mind map all the chapter headings.
Yeah.
Mind map the subheadings, subheadings.
Yeah,
and create a skeleton.
Yeah.
Right? This is a system that we're going to go through, and I'm going to get you to practice it quite a bit as well, right? And then when you need to, then you read and you put the keywords in that mind map as well. So by the time you finish that, it's about half an hour, 45 minutes, you've actually done a whole book.
Yeah, you got it.
Right? So if you've got books and stuff that you've got to read, you mind map them beforehand, and now you've saved yourself 12 weeks of trouble, or whatever, however many weeks the class goes.
Yeah. I've got this course, like the ITX course, I've got a lot of reading to do.
You can smash that up before you even get into class.
Yeah, and a lot of like scientific and medical terminologies as well.
Yeah. Again, that will come under the memory techniques and stuff, because you've got a definition. It's like, what is it? Bang.
Exactly.
Because what I tend to do is I do the mind mapping first, organize all the information.
Yeah.
See what it's like, visualize it, go through it. Okay, this is what it's talking about. If I need to memorize something, I'll memorize. If I need to read something, I speed read it and do some things.
Yeah.
That's it. Once I've done that, then I go to class, right? So what am I meant to do in class, right? Traditionally, people just take notes and look and take notes. But if I'm constantly taking notes, I'm
not really listening to what the lecturer is saying.
Exactly. You're not really listening. You can be. I mean, you could be great at that. I've been doing it for how many years, right? So you do develop that skill, but it's not that effective at times as well. So you want to be listening, actively listening more. So what you do is you take this mind map, right, in there, and then because you've already got knowledge already that the lecturer is talking about, right, you add to that mind map, right? Add a bit more knowledge. So they're your notes, essentially. You bring the mind map in, or if you want, you can take normal notes as you do, and then you pop them on your mind map.
Yeah.
Right? So here, what you'd also do in the pre as well, with your mind map, you can put questions in there if you wanted to, like, I don't know what this means, or whatever. So when you get into class, you can actually, ask, get involved. Because that was one thing I never ever did, because I was more, especially at high school, was I used to just wait for the information to come rather than just talk. There's some people in class who just all they do is talk. I can't do that. I'm always sort of analysing and seeing what fits and all that sort of, and I still did it, even at uni I still did it. And they mark you 10% on participation. I'm like, that's a joke, because some people learn differently. You can't just expect someone to participate when they haven't even got the image in their head on what they're talking about, right? Anyway, so I do this before, so when I do get into class, I can now contribute.
Yes.
Because I visualized it and I prepared for it before, right? And if it's something brand new, then I'll add it on here, and then I'll see where everything fits, rather than try and visualize it and take notes there and there.
Yeah, exactly.
Right? So you're doing more active listening, right? So listening skills, and you can use visualization in there with listening. We're going to go through listening exercises, because that was my weakest area with memory, listening skills. Someone used to talk to me, moments later I used to forget exactly what they said.
That's me.
I'm like, how would that happen? I'm only like 20 years old. Why would that be the case? I was sort of wondering why. And I just accepted it. I'm like, oh, well, my memory's crap. That's what I thought. So listening skills, like I remember when I was a child, my grandfather, we used to watch the news, and he used to say, well, what was on the news? I'm like, I don't know. He goes, but you just watched it. This was ever since growing up as a kid. I'm like, I don't know, but I can understand why he was doing that, to get us involved and get you thinking. Very, very smart man. Amazing guy. But Yeah, listening skill, terrible. So how do you actually do that in class? How do you amplify the skill so that you're actually retaining a lot more,
Yeah.
right? Because it's not just about, oh yeah, just actively listen, you'll be fine. It's not that.
It's not that.
There's so much more to listening. So while you're listening, you're engaging, and if you need to take a note, you take notes,
Yeah.
right? But not as much as what you normally do.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that, and you're interacting with classmates or whatever.
Yeah.
You're doing all that sort of stuff because that's what a class really is for. If it was just to give you information, which a lot of people do, if it was just information, I mean, you don't need to be there. You can just, go read a book.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly.
Go read the chapter or whatever it is that you need to do, right? So that's what the classroom stuff is. You don't need to memorize anything in class, right? A lot of people will probably go, hang on, what the hell's going on here? I don't memorize stuff. What do you mean? You don't need to memorization is really hard to do live.
So you don't really.
You don't really memorize. You take your notes.
Take notes.
Yeah, actively
and
listen, get involved.
Yeah.
If you need to memorize, it comes into the post stage.
And then again, probably
Yeah.
revisit it in the pre. Again, yeah.
Yeah. So what you do, let's say this is a week, right, for that one class or whatever it is. You do your preparation, right? You do all your reading, mind mapping, organizing. You bang, you're ready. You go into class, you do all your listening, all that sort of stuff. Great. You add to your mind map, so your mind map's even bigger and better, and you got more knowledge. Then what you do in the post is you'd still have your mind map here, right? But you add more knowledge on there. It's like, okay, what did I learn from this session? What else can I add from my own knowledge on there?
Yeah.
Right? It's not just what you've learned in class, because there's always, especially with your age now, right? There's going to be stuff that applies from your experience.
Of course. Yeah.
So you add that in there as well. So it's going to be full of knowledge, that mind map now.
All still on one page.
Yeah, all on one page. And you can do it electronically, type into type.
Yeah.
It's the best thing ever,
Yeah.
right? The majority, I can't. There's a lot of people that do it
Yeah.
as well, but
My mate, like he used to do like something similar to mind maps,
yeah.
but it used to be, I don't know how he did it. It used to be all in like pictures.
Yeah.
Spun out.
Whatever works for you, man.
Yeah.
So you add to your mind map, right? So add to mind map. You're doing that here as well, adding to mind map.
Yeah.
That's what that picture is meant to be. So adding to your mind map, you add more knowledge on there as well. Add your knowledge. So you're basically making it, deeper so you can understand, right? Now you've gone through 3 instances there now. You've done the pre, so you've got a faint idea of what it's about. You may not know because obviously you're studying it, right? But at least you've got a faint idea. Some things you might get straight away. Here it sort of solidifies that knowledge a bit from here. Here you're fully solidifying it. So you're giving yourself 3 chances to really get that knowledge.
What are you learning in that class?
Yeah. Now you might actually read something here as well that's related or something like that, right? You might have extra reading to do, whatever it is, right? Again, not a lot of people do the extra work, but it's those little things, they're the ones that count, right? So this is what you do. Now, if you also need to memorize stuff like they've given you a list or something, or do this for next class or whatever, this is where you do like your memorization, all those sort of things as well, right? So you add, memorization here. That's if it's needed, right? You don't need to memorize it if you've got the mind map, because what you can do is if you've got an exam, or do you get exams or anything like that?
Yeah.
So if you get exams, all you're doing is you're just looking at the mind map. And the cool thing is, this is the best thing about studying, right? I'm going to do this in a different color. What we normally do, let's say this is time, right? This is how long it takes you to study, that's the exam time, right? So you start off here, you don't study, you start studying here, right? And you're cramming, right? Yeah, and last minute you do whatever. With mind mapping, what it is you're actually doing a lot more work, but when it comes to exam time, you don't really have to study for hours and hours and hours because you've already got the mind map. So all you have to do is just visualize the mind map a few times, go through it, and I'll show you the process of all of this, right? You go through it a few times and it's in your head. And if it's 12 weeks or something like that, you've only got 12 mind maps. And if you want to, you can just do a 1v1. That's it. You haven't got, if you're taking notes, right? Let's say you take 8 to 10 pages of notes every class. And you've got like 10 weeks, that's over 100 pages. right? See what I mean? So, and how many times do you actually go back and review notes? You know,
Yeah.
that's like reading a book. Yeah, and sometimes you can't even read your writing. You know. Whereas here, especially if you do it electronically, it's all there.
Yeah.
Like I've had friends, they mind map their whole subjects. You know, accounting they even did. You know, technical stuff,
And it works.
they got 100% in their exam. They didn't even get high 90s. They got 100%.
Crazy.
So, yeah, and they started sharing their mind maps with everyone.
Yeah, of course.
It's like, go for it, man.
Yeah, it's good.
So that's what happens. Initially, we sort of, we might study that much and then go to the next class. But mind mapping and doing everything here, it's going to be the longer road. It may seem, but towards the end, there's not much to do.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, whereas here, we've got a lot of stressing out. Here, there's no stress. And that's what you'll find is that, and you'll actually enjoy it because by the time you get to here and it's done, that knowledge is in your head a lot better than what it was before.
Yeah.
And you've got a reference here in the mind map as well. So if you ever forget or whatever, instead of going and opening up a book or article or whatever it is, you go to a particular branch on the mind map and you'll get it.
Get it straight away.
Speed of, I guess access into that. It's these things here. So extremely powerful stuff. So the things that we're going to be looking at essentially is speed reading. But to get to there, speed reading requires you to create images in your head really fast because you're reading images, right? So in order to do that, you need to be at a certain level, right? So a certain level of fitness. So if you're in the physical field, you can't just run a marathon, right? What would happen? So you have to be at a certain level of fitness and then run a marathon. So this is the same as that. Right? So see speed reading as like a marathon. You really need to train for it. Memory techniques are a lot more easier. Right? It's like getting on a treadmill for the first time. You're probably going to be able to do it. Right? It's going to take a bit of time, whatever, but that's going to be the easy stuff. Mind mapping is also easy, but it's more about how to use it. Right? So it's going to be a little bit more of a challenge.
How to structure it?
With structuring, we're going to go through how to structure for your particular content. And you can bring a lot of stuff in as well.
100%.
And we can always, like you said, once we get into the Skype stuff, you can still do it over Skype as well.
It's
pretty easy, So this is going to be really cool in organising this stuff. Like I said, the more information you have, the easier it is with this. Like I've had people coming to me studying for like the barista exam, the bar exam, right? The lawyers and stuff, and stacks of information. Got them to do mind map, and then mind mapped so much. It was amazing, and they visualize through it. And I learned from it. When people mind map stuff, I learn. I look at it, I'm like, wow, man, this is amazing. So and the techniques we'll go through, and what I'd also do as well. This is how to study, but what I'd also do is in order to do these good, you need to train, have little drills, right? Just like sporting teams do. They don't go out and train for games by playing an actual game, right? Because they can only do that X amount of times, right?
Exactly.
People can get injured, but they have little drills and stuff, right? So we're going to be focusing on drills and stuff to make that a lot faster. So if the memory is a lot faster, the encoding's faster, you're able to remember a lot quicker, but also read a lot better. Right? Doesn't take that long, but there's a lot of practice involved. So it's only up to you on how quick and fast you will make it. So any questions on this one? If you want, you can take a photo of it if you like and stuff. What people generally do is they take photos. This is good. I'm going to get that. But got a video as well. Hopefully, if it's facing it properly, the camera.
I'm going to check that out.
But
that's right.
It should be cool. So that's for me. This is. It's amazing because here you save so much time. If you do this, you're saving a lot of time. If you don't do it, then you're almost like behind the eight ball here. Especially if they've given you stuff to prepare beforehand. It's going to take you a lot longer. No doubt, it's going to take you a lot longer. But that extra effort you put in is going to help you.
Of course,
so much.
And that's something I haven't done in the past either. The extra effort at the start and at the end of the class.
But even if you put extra effort at the start, you'd be doing it your way. And you might get a little bit more, but it takes energy. Right? This sort of stuff, it takes energy, but it's actually easy to apply once you know how to do it. Right? So you do it, and when the end comes, bang. One of my clients here, he actually works here. I showed him how to do mind map for studies. He's absolutely smashing it through his studies. He's getting high 90s. He's averaging. Amazing. So he's fairly switched on, which is good. And so if you're switched on, you're taking this stuff.
Oh,
My goodness,
yeah.
you know. Like you don't have to be switched on, or, you know. But
No, yeah.
once you start understanding it, then you realize, oh yeah, this is going to take me, and you could put numbers to it. It's going to take me maybe an hour,
Yeah.
right? So I've only got an hour worth of work. Here, yeah, well that's whatever class
Whatever
is given
class,
to
how
you.
long it goes.
Here, yeah, I might have a couple of hours of work. So you work it all out. Then you go, okay, this subject I'm going to do 3 hours a week. This subject requires 6 hours. So you plan your time like that.
That's your time.
Give yourself a bit of slack just in case,
Yeah.
you know. And there you go. There's your plan.
Yeah.
Yeah, and you're set. And if you want to do extra, you can. As long as you don't sort of miss out a few things or wreck the system.
Yeah.
But here's the thing, you don't really need discipline for this, right? Because discipline, you know, is developing the habits, all that sort of stuff continuously, right? That can be a bit tricky. Once you get into the zone, and it's not too bad. But with something like this, like mind mapping, it's not that difficult to do. So you actually end up doing that more often. And because you're doing these things more often, you're getting a better result every time. So it's going to naturally, it's like you said before, you're putting yourself in the environment.
Yeah.
You know, this is like giving you the tools, the mental environment to succeed.
Yeah.
You know, so yeah, and it makes things, it might seem like, oh, it's taking ages to mind map, or oh my goodness, I'm memorizing things, it's taking me a very long time. It's going to seem like that. It probably is going to be like that, but that extra 2 hours you put in there is going to save you.
Exam time easier.
It's not going to save you 10, 20 hours. It's going to save you your whole career maybe.
Yeah.
Because that information now that you've memorized, that's going to be in your head for long term,
Yeah.
right? Until you look back at it, because there's also a thing called spaced repetition, right? If you don't review things for a certain period, you forget.
Yeah.
So there's certain review periods, and when we look at studying for exams, that's what we'll look at as well. So you've done a mind map, you've done particular techniques, all that sort of stuff. How do you go back and review it?
Yeah.
Without sort of interrupting other areas as well, you know. So that's the system. It's pretty awesome. But where we're going to start is just the foundation, memory techniques.
Yeah.
The foundation. And the reason why we're starting with, because I could start at any point. The reason why we're starting here is you need a strong image creation abilities to do speed reading.
Yeah.
And once you start getting to the image, improve that area, the mind mapping becomes a lot easier as well, because you can see the information.
Yeah.
And the reason why there's mind mapping as well is if we're just taking notes with words, right? It's just using one part of the brain, just one particular part of the brain. If we're using branches and color and all that sort of stuff, using another part of the brain. So if we're combining two sides of the brain together, right? Now you're using way more power, way more brain power, right? And getting more result out of it. So that's what happens with mind all of them, because you're looking at words, you're encoding words into images, so using both sides of your brain.
Yeah.
So all of these, same thing with memory. So you're not only studying, but you're training your brain to use both sides of your brain.
Yeah.
So you're getting smarter by studying as well.
Yeah, got you.
By training, you're getting smarter. It's like by exercising, you're getting fitter, right? But you might be able to run quicker now, or you might be able to lift heavier. Yeah, and you're using that for practical things. So there's a lot of benefits, not just for a practical skill, but for a self-development training skill. Because you might now, take this, right, cut and paste for the next session, cut and paste for the next session, cut and paste, same thing over and over. You might find that, okay, I want to learn a language, right? Here's how I'm going to do it. And you take this same model, apply it there, but you make it your own. You go, well, what does that mean for me if I'm learning by myself? Okay, I might do it this way, or it might be during my reading time, or so now you've got a system to learn how to learn.
Yeah.
I think that's important, learning how to learn rather than just learning how to interact with data. You don't want to just interact, you want stuff so you can implement or create as well. Cool, so does that make sense?
Yeah, no, that makes sense.
Awesome. Any questions around these as well?
No, obviously, we're going to go into depth of all those, speed reading, mind mapping, and memory techniques. Yeah.
And by doing this as well, remember we're going to touch on other areas that you want, not just studying. Yeah. So, there's going to be areas that you want. For example, you might be remembering names.
Yeah.
right? Just by doing this, you're going to get the skills to be able to remember names,
Yeah. Okay.
or skills here to organize something else,
Yeah.
or goal setting. Like the goal setting stuff that I do is purely mind mapping, right? It's amazing stuff. So we'll spend a session just doing all the goal setting stuff. It might be good for your clients, maybe.
Yeah. Exactly.
Because there's a lot of that stuff as well. With it, that's amazing doing goal setting with mind mapping, because you can actually see what's going on. You can actually put a checklist there as well.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So we'll learn all of that, and we'll just get some regularity in the training as well. And what I do is I tend to give little bits of homework as well for people to do.
Yeah.
So I mean, the more you train, the better. Because a lot of people ask me, how often should I train? Is it like 10 minutes a day or something? I'm like, man, the more you can train, the better. Yeah, but
especially if you're on like the app already.
Oh, This can speed things up totally. But also, a lot of people say, I can't really practice because I'm working, or I have to wait for the weekend, or after work I'm tired. Well, some of these things you can actually do while you're working or traveling or things like that, right? So memory techniques, for example, you could look at a door, and instead of just visualizing a door, you can see the door moving, or see the door being opened or sliding, or things like. They're all part of memory techniques because it's creating visualization. And it's creating animation. So little things like that we're going to look into as well. Yeah. So I think it's important to know how to do that while you're not studying. So how are you learning while you're not studying? Powerful stuff. And we'll also look at language as well, and not just how to learn language, but how it all fits into our brain. Because some people, they're not very good at it. They get to exams and like, oh no, I'm not good at exams, or
all that.
I failed this many times. Or, I mean, you're probably good at all that stuff, being a trainer yourself, but it's just, it's interesting sometimes when lecturers talk, you can pick out their language. So it's just about how to decipher a lot of these things as well. Did you mean this? So we'll analyze everything. Because learning is not just, here's information, it's everything. In your environment, I mean, you change that. How do you make the most of an amazing environment as well?
Yeah, exactly right.
That's the thing. You don't want to just go in there and just feel good. It's like, okay, well, how can I make the most out of this awesome feeling? See what I mean? So it's like, let's say you've got money. Now you want to make the most out of that. What do I do? Do I go invest? So it's like that with knowledge as well. It's like, now you've got this power, what do I want to do? That's why I went back and did 2 master's degrees. I'm like, I've got this knowledge. What do I want to do?
Like, too, man.
I mean, the reason why I did it was I was having a look online, and it showed courses on, human resource management and leadership and diversity, and I'm like, this is all really good. I like these topics, and it was part of a degree. I'm like, oh, that's it, I'm doing it. So I want to learn this stuff, not because I want to get a better job or anything like that. I just did it for enjoyment, and because I already knew this, applied it, and 5 years later, it's 2 master's degrees. But the more important thing I learned was this. Like I didn't go in there with this in mind first. I just went in purely just raw, just to see how things were coming at me. I got like tests straight away within a week. I'm like, well, I've been studying for, 10 years.
Test in 2 weeks.
Yeah, there you go. I was studying for like 10 years, and suddenly they throw a test at me. Like, what's going on? Assignment? Like, what? How group assignments? I'm like, I didn't even know anyone. So it's like everything intertwined. Like, it took me years to develop this, but once I got it, I really started enjoying learning. It was the best process, and you have recommended readings and stuff. I got it all done. I never used to do that. I used to sort of just do the bare minimum and hope for the best. Like I used to rely on, because I thought I was smart. I used to rely on that. Like, I'll just go in and I'll get it. And you do pass some subjects like that. Like I've done that at uni and gotten an A in one subject. I only went to one lecture. Last minute doing that, and you absolutely ace it. That's going to happen. But what do I remember from that? Nothing. I don't remember the subject name now.
Exactly.
There you go. So, it's about really utilizing this to maximize you. It's not so much just to even learn. To maximize you, then you can become better at what you do. And have an impact, because that's what you want. You want to have an impact on people. You don't want to just learn it. You're learning this so you can have an impact. And you can't have an impact if you have no proper knowledge. And you want to be an expert in your area. That's what you're going for. To become an expert, you don't just do that.
No.
Right? That's what you think of. You look at the bigger picture, the perspective, right? You want to become an expert. It's not just that.
No.
What is an expert? You know, then you look at, okay, if I want to be an expert, I got to work like an expert.
Yeah,
I got to study like an expert. I got to, you know, I'm the man.
I don't want, like I don't want to do just this this degree, and just scrape through. Like I want to ace it, you know. What I mean?
Yeah. You will. You'll do this. You'll smash through it.
Yeah.
But again, that's if you're constantly working away
Yeah,
on
you
it.
have to.
Yeah, and like I said, this works for everything. That works for everything. You know, you could speed read the most technical stuff. It'll still work.
Yeah.
Why? Because you're encoding it into images that you know. Right? Now, people say, how hard is it for speed read technical stuff? Right? Well, technical stuff is stuff that we haven't created images for already.
Yeah, exactly.
So once there's images for it, that's it. You've got no problem.
Yeah.
Now, reading might be a little bit slower, but who cares? You're going to do that anyway.
Yeah.
Right? So that's no impact. Memory techniques, anyone can do them. I haven't really found anyone that hasn't been able to do them. So yeah, they might be slower. You might be really slow starting out, but you know, you'll get results.
Yeah.
You'll get. It's not something. It's funny. People think memory takes ages to develop. Like I could show someone how to use all the memory techniques within a couple of hours, and they'll be able to use it. You know, so show speed reading in 10 minutes. It's easy. Can show you one technique to memorize everything you ever wanted to, like 10 minutes. Like it's easy, but the doing part, you know, that's going to take you the most practice because of the encoding part.
Yeah.
Right. So that's it. So